What's going on, Titans fans? Your boy CD back again with another episode of TitanUp 2day. And today is Friday, the end of the work week, and we're almost there, inching a little bit closer each day to that Monday night appearance by our Tennessee Titans taking on the Denver Broncos in a rematch game, as I call it, from week 4 last year. That being said, it did turn our season around, so I won't harp on it too much. The football gods have been taking care of us. Even though we had to wait a little bit, they gave us a little taste last night. The Chiefs did beat the Houston Texans, our division rival, and the only team right now in the NFL, only one team right now is 0-1. They sit in our division at the bottom of the rankings. Quick shout out to my sister, Court. I love you, girl. I don't know why you're a Texans fan. You guys are last place right now. Talk to you here about 16 more weeks. Anyways, today's episode, give you a quick injury rundown, the status of where we're at right now. No official report yet until after practice today. Then we'll go and take a deep dive of a preview of the Denver Broncos game this Monday night. But no need to delay. Let's get right down to it. All right, now, welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump headfirst into this injury report and see what the status is on our guys as well as the opposition. As you see right here, the Titans have a handful of folks that were either limited or didn't participate during practice. O-lineman Jamil Douglas with a hand injury, outside linebacker Derek Robertson with a knee injury, and safety Kenny Vaccaro, but with an asterisk beside it because it was a non-football issue, did not participate. All three of those guys were not seen on the practice field. Outside linebacker Vic Beasley with a knee injury, Corey Davis with a hamstring. This is a couple years in a row now that hamstring's been bothering him going into week 1. And running back Darrington Evans also with a hamstring, young guy. All three of those folks were limited in practice. Now, at first glance, keep in mind it's not official, not yet. If anybody's questionable, doubtful, or out, we don't have any of those designations at this point in time. What we do know is that these folks were limited during the practice time frame. Corey Davis, that to me kind of pulls on me. It's upsetting because I know that he's right now, like I said yesterday, he's on the verge. He needs to show something to us. This is the time. But it's been a couple years now where he comes into the week 1 with little nagging injuries. If it's a hamstring or turf toe or something, he's always got something going on. Darrington Evans, rookie, we don't really know about him, but he's been having some hamstring issues throughout camp that they've been reporting. So hopefully he's like slowly coming along. But the fact that they're limited in practice and did not participate, that shows that we could be doing something. So today's practice, huge. Hopefully full participants moving forward, and we don't have a designation of questionable at all. I like to see a probable or even off the injury list. All right, so here's a Broncos situation. Mark Barron, their linebacker with a hamstring, and Von Miller, their outside linebacker with an ankle, did not participate. It shows on there Von Miller not participating, but we all know to this point that Von Miller actually is on the IR, so it's not that he just didn't participate in practice. He's got real issues going on with that ankle, and I don't think that he'll be playing. We'll get an official designation again shortly, but at this moment in time, if I had to bet on it, he will not be seeing the field on Monday night. Outside linebacker Bradley Chubb, the O-lineman Graham Glasgow, wide receiver KJ Hamler, and their tight end, I cannot say his last name, with an ankle. Cortland Sutton and Trey Marshall. Cortland Sutton is the big one. He was limited in practice. All these folks I just named were all limited in practice, but Cortland Sutton is their number 1 wide receiver, showing as limited with a shoulder. I guess it was late in practice he fell or was going for a diving catch, and something happened with his shoulder. He grabbed it and kind of walked him off, and that was the end of it. So we'll see if he comes out to practice, if he's a DNP or if he's a full participant or what. That will kind of say where he stands. And of course, after practice, we'll get a legit designation on if he's going to be playing or how injured he truly is. Now the injury's out the way, let's dig into this week 1 road matchup on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos right now. All right, now, so before we get into the statistics, I want you guys to know that here on TitanUp Today, I do a deep scrub and go through what I believe is the best and most important information for you. There's so many statistics out there with advanced stats and next gen statistics. What I'm doing is I'm combing through and bringing you categories where we or our opponent rank in either the top 10 or are in the bottom 10 of their respective category, and I bring that to you. As you all know, COVID erased preseason. That doesn't exist, so we don't have any preseason statistics or preseason looks to kind of even look at a preview. So I'm going back to 2019, way back in time, to kind of paint this picture for you of where we stand moving forward against the Broncos for Monday. So our rushing offense, as you can see here, we were ranked third in the league with 2,223 yards. We had a 5-yard per carry average, which was third as well. 23 touchdowns, which gave us second, and 14 explosive plays. Those are plays that are rushing plays that were 20 yards or more, tied for fifth in that category. Quick shout out too to the Baltimore Ravens. I don't like to really give out too much love to other teams, but the first place rush offense had 1,000 additional yards than us, 1,000 more yards. But anyways, you see our statistics is glowing, got it. But there's 11 guys on the field that we got to rush against. So what did the Denver Broncos bring to the table in 2019? Their rush defense was decent. Not when it comes down to yardage or whatnot. They were kind of middle of the pack, but only giving up 9 touchdowns, put them tied for fifth in the league, and only 7 explosive plays of 20 yards or more was tied for 6th as well. They're last in the league and only got one forced fumble for the 2019 season. So when it comes down to running the ball, it's obvious we got the number one guy, number 22, Derrick Henry. Last year was the number one rusher in the league with 303 carries, 1,540 yards, and averaging 5.1 yards per carry and 16 touchdowns in 16 games. Now, obviously, they get the defense, they get to stop us. Who we got to look out for to stop Derrick Henry in our rushing attack? This one guy, Alexander Johnson. Alexander Johnson had 93 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception. So moving forward, that's somebody that we need to make sure we get a hat on, block, open up holes. I think that tackling is going to be an issue, as you saw last night in that matchup between the Texans and the Chiefs. People not tackling at all. And it's going to be probably 4 games at preseason time frame for people to start tackling and wrapping folks up and bringing them down. One guy that people don't tend to want to tackle, even in the dead of the winter, playoff time when they've been tackling for 16 weeks, is Derrick Henry. So I think he might have a big game. We'll talk about that and any predictions later on down the road. So let's move forward. Titans passing offense, 448 attempts last year, was actually 31st. We had almost the least amount of attempts. Obviously, we're a run-first team, but when we did throw the ball, that's the scary part. 66.3% of our passes were completed, which gave us 7th in the league. 8.8 yards per attempt, which was first in the league. 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 108.3 quarterback rating, 58 explosive plays, tied for 8th in the league. The negative, because they're always a negative, we gave up a ton of sacks, 56 sacks. I believe that it felt like half of them were in the first 4 weeks as we were trying to get our offensive line situated. But we did give up a ton of sacks, and we need to solidify that in the 2020 season to make sure that we're able to move forward and advance. The Broncos pass defense, we'll call them average to say the least. They gave up 64.8% completion rate, but only 19 touchdowns, which was tied for 5th in the league. When the ball was in the air, only 10 interceptions, which to me, again, it seems like it's in the middle, but it's tied for 25th. So there was a lot more interceptions to be had for them, reference the rest of the league. They only gave up 46 explosive plays. And if you look at across the board here, we had 58, which was tied for 8th, and they're tied for 8th and not giving them up. So that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. Now, we do have Ryan Tannehill as our quarterback. Ryan Tannehill last year, comeback player of the year, award winner. I think that if he starts, looking at the statistics, if he kept that up for 16 games, he might be the MVP. Who knows how that shakes out. But Ryan Tannehill, 117.5 quarterback rating, 2,742 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Monster year, absolutely monster year for him. Congratulations again. But who he had to throw to? Obviously, Corey Davis, you're going to hear that a lot from me, but the guy last year was the rookie. How did he not win Rookie of the Year still boggles me. He set records for explosive plays as a rookie or as a wide receiver in general, but A.J. Brown, number 11, 52 receptions, 1,050 yards receiving, 20.2 yards on average, and 8 touchdowns. That's a good line for anyone, let alone a rookie. But again, we got to give the Broncos time. How are they going to stop us? We did give up a ton of sacks. Again, 56 sacks we gave up last year. They got Bradley Chubb. Don't let these numbers fool you. It would have been Von Miller that I was highlighting. Obviously, he's hurt. But Bradley Chubb was hurt last year, and he did this in only a couple games. 16 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. But the year prior, he had a monster season. It'd be interesting to see how it works out. Of course, they have Jarrell Casey on their line now as well that can kind of give him some help and let him and free up Chubb to do some damage. We got to put eyes on him and make sure that we block. We cannot give up cheap sacks at all if we want to do anything in the passing game this week. Defensive back, Justin Simmons, 93 tackles. He found himself up against or up on the line a lot too. I believe he led the team in tackles for the season as well. But with 4 interceptions, he's definitely a ball hawk. But let's go ahead and move forward. Let's talk about efficiency. Efficiency is important whenever you're playing offense because at the end of the day, it's not just about having the ball, it's about keeping the ball, right? How did we keep the ball last year? 28.6% on 4th down conversions. That was almost last. I think that's bittersweet. We'll look at it and say, all right, we didn't have to convert that many 4th downs. We convert on 3rd down, we're good to go. But the problem is, as you see, there's no statistical data on here that I'm painting for you because everything else all in the efficiency categories was run of the mill, just right down the pipe, nothing too special, nothing to highlight. We did have 99 penalties, which was 25th in the league. I think of our team as very disciplined, but statistically, we had a lot of penalties on offense. 17 turnovers, that's interceptions or fumbles. We only gave up 17, which is pretty good and puts us at 7th in the league. As you see here, there's no information under the Denver Broncos for efficiency because everything that they did was just average for the most part. They're just an average defense when it comes down to efficiency. So when the Broncos run the ball, they're going to have to go up against a Russian defense from 2019 that was pretty dang good. And I think that we're pretty much better this year after some upgrades. But as you look here, the Russian defense, the Titans only gave up 4 yards per carry, which gave us 7th in the league, and only a measly 6 explosive run plays all season long, tied us for 3rd in the league. But the one thing that we can work on and get better at is picking up those fumbles. We only picked up 5 fumbles last year, which put us towards the bottom 3rd of the league. If you guys recall, there was a ton of balls on the ground, so many balls on the ground that we just never picked up to hurt the other team. So it led us to be on the field a lot longer than we wanted to. So Denver Broncos will be putting out Phillip Lindsay as their number 1 running back. You can expect to see a ton of him and a little bit of Royce Freeman sprinkled in, kind of like a 2-headed monster, thunder, lightning combination. Phillip Lindsay, we bottled him up pretty good last year, but he did get loose a couple times, which kind of stung us. And I think it probably led to us losing that game along with a lot of miserable offense, but off that. So Phillip Lindsay, 2019, he had I would say, average season for a rusher. His numbers go as follows. He had 224 carries, a little over 1,000 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.5 yards per carry, which, again, it's solid, serviceable running back in the NFL. If he does something like that against us, I think we'll be okay. That said, we do have a linebacker that will be making sure that he doesn't run anywhere. If you recall, I know Sony Michelle remembers Rashaan Evans coming over the top and then knocking him out. He does not let running backs get through at all. Last season, he had 111 total tackles and 2.5 sacks. That being said, They can also throw the ball. The Broncos' pass offense will have to go against a pass defense that's up and down, to say the least, in 2019. I'm hoping that we solidify it. I've seen our defense completely stall any offensive threat through the air, and then the next drive let them chop us up like a Ginzu knife, and just murder us through the air. So hopefully we can be consistent throughout the season, with a strong secondary and definitely that front seven putting pressure. But statistically, as you can see here from 2019, a lot of people passed. It was 598 attempts against us. That tied us for sixth most attempts against our defense, or against a defense in the NFL. With all those attempts, you would think they would help, but there's a reason why they threw a lot. 64.5% completion, which was 23rd, bottom third of the league. We gave up a lot of completions. 4,080 yards through the air we gave up as well, which is 24th. That said, we were ball hawks. When the ball was in the air, we grabbed it. 14 interceptions tied us for 8th in the league. So again, who's going to be throwing the ball? Drew Locke, second-year quarterback. We'll see how he works. I think that he showed some flashes last year, but he'll be playing against a very, very stout pass defense on Monday night. Drew Locke, again, only in minimum time, he had 89.7 quarterback rating, 1,020 yards passing, 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Not too bad of a ratio for a rookie, for sure. Who's he throwing to? Depending on injury report, Cortland Sutton had 72 receptions last year for 1,112 yards, giving him 15.4 yards a clip and 6 touchdowns. Our defense, though, Harold Landry showed up last year. He had 9 sacks, 68 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and an interception. I think that grows this year. They're talking about limiting his play because he got a ton of snaps last year. I think that's why we go and get Vic Beasley. That's why we go and get Jadeveon Clowney. And obviously we still have Kamale Carrera that's going to be behind him as well. So he'll be able to come off the field from time to time and stay fresh and hopefully boost up those sack numbers, but we'll see. And the back end, the best safety in the game, bar none. I want to hear what anybody has to say. Kevin Byard, leader on and off the field. Last year for us, he led us with 5 interceptions and 84 tackles. Passing, running, all that stuff is great. Again, you have to be efficient. So let's go ahead and look. What does efficiency look like? Offensively speaking, the Broncos, sure, 31.7% third down conversion, which is almost last in the league, 30 out of 32 teams. But if there's a positive delight to that, when you don't convert third down, you go to fourth down. Fourth down conversions, they were second in the league with 68.8%. Now, don't get me wrong, more than likely they were punting or kicking field goals on most of those balls. But whenever it was fourth down and they were taking a snap, they weren't afraid, as they were number 2 in the league at converting fourth downs. They did have 16 turnovers, which was pretty good, puts them in the top 6 in the league. But they're going against a defense that is rather efficient as well. The Tennessee Titans +6 turnover differential was top 10 in the NFL, placing us 9th. Again, 99 penalties was 25th in the league. 36.3% third down conversion was top 8. 40% fourth down conversion was, again, top 8. So we don't give up much. Very much efficient when it comes down to going forward and stopping teams. So as any good football fan knows, there's 3 phases to the game: offense, defense, and special teams. And when it comes down to special teams, the Tennessee Titans, I doubt that there's a team that has better special team play than us right now on paper, because we haven't even kicked the ball off yet. But whenever you have Brett Kern punting the ball and Steven Gostkowski now kicking field goals, I think we're doing okay. Now, that's 2020. Looking at these statistics from last year, it's actually sad to look. It's like a tear could drop my eye. 44.4% of field goals attempted last year were made. Only 44.4%, which was dead last, and it was not even close. We did block 3 field goals, which was first in the league, and there was 1 extra point that we blocked as well, which was tied for first. Punting the ball, Would you expect anything less? 47.1 punt average, second in the league. 37 punts inside the 20. That was first. And again, not even close. Brett Kern, all pro last year, all star, all everything. Brett Kern. The Denver Broncos, 3 explosive kickoff returns of 40 yards plus, which is tied for second. That's kind of scary. Again, I like our special teams. I think it will be just fine, but we need to make sure that we don't give up anything explosive on kickoff. To 40 plus yards, that's huge when it comes down to field position. On the other hand, punting the ball, 39.4 yards net was 26th in the league. They did have 2 punt returns that they allowed as well, which is not good. So hopefully for us, we could take advantage of that. Maybe Khalif Raymond. Anybody say Khalif Raymond? We'll take 1 or 2 back on Monday. That would be nice. After breaking down the numbers from 2019 Broncos and 2019 Titans to try to determine what this game could look like, what I see is the Broncos have a tough rush defense going against a very, very, very potent rush offense in the Tennessee Titans. I think it still leans towards us. Try not to be a homer. I just believe that nobody wants to tackle Derrick Henry. And on top of that, with limited physical preseason action, it's going to be hard tackling. You saw it last night. It's just going to be hard to tackle, but we'll see. I think it's going to go on both sides, but I think the running game leans towards us. Passing attack from the Titans perspective, when we do pass, because we did rank towards the bottom in attempts, but when we did, we were efficient and there was a ton of explosive plays. Now, that sounds good, but the Broncos, although they gave up a lot of completions, they did not give up a lot of explosive plays, and they did not give up a lot of touchdowns. So that could be an issue from that perspective. Passing the ball, the Broncos don't want to pass with Drew Locke. We'll see. Maybe he's grown a ton. I think that's our weak point, but it could be a strength at times as well, especially whenever we're sending guys at the quarterback. We'll see how that shakes out. Their rushing game, yeah, it's down the middle, not really too impressive to me. I think our Russian defense will stymie that. Special teams, not even a question. We're head above most teams, but definitely the Broncos in this situation. I think that we're looking at, I'm hoping for a good game just in general for entertainment perspective, but I think that we're looking at a game in which we should win. Anything is possible, hopefully knock on wood, no injuries or anything like that, but as long as we tackle, as long as we play sound football and Coach Vrabes keeps the guys tight mentally, I think that we win this game. I think it should be a good easy breezy game for us. But we'll see. Not going to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but on paper it looks good for us. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode of Tighten Up Today. If you did, click the like button, show your boys some love. Click that subscribe button, get an alert whenever I drop my next video tomorrow, so you can tag in, watch, catch up, leave a comment, talk to your boy, chat with me. I chat back. I promise I won't bite. Nonetheless, I enjoy you guys. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. But I do got a question. Why tighten up tomorrow when you can tighten up today?